Hi, we're here today to install a small lawn, 17 square metres, around a pool, very common. So the first part of what we need to do is to remove the old turf, approximately down 100 millimetres, to put crushed rock in. So in a lot of cases you can get turf cutters and other mechanical machinery in, but in a lot of cases also you can't get access, and this is one of those. So you have to physically dig it out with pick and shovel and a couple of wheelbarrows, and it takes a little bit of while, but you need to get all the grass out before you lay the crushed rock. One of the other things you have to do when you're digging out your lawn is obviously got to make some plans to get rid of it. A lot of houses might have a spot somewhere in the property to spread it out, but you have to consider that when you're doing your lawn yourself. Either you've got to get a small skip in, work out how much you're going to dig out in your square metres, and it's simply depth by square metres, and that tells you how much you're going to dig out and what size skip to get depending on your lawn. Okay, so we've taken all the soil out. We've got it down to approximately 100 mil. Doesn't have to be exact, but somewhere around that area. And now we start to put in the crushed rock, known as crusher dust, or 5mm minus. We bought at most nurseries. This one here, you have to consider an edge, and the client here is having, along the pool fence, having an edge, a false edge, which is basically just the grass tucked down into the edge. But if you don't want that, you have to consider putting an edge in at this stage now. Leveled out all the crusher dust, got it as smooth as we can. We then use a whacker plate to compress it down. We have to water it first, which we'll do in a second, and then we use a whacker plate. You can hire the whacker plates from any hire shop. You must whack it down. If you don't compact it, your lawn won't work because it'll sink and have footprints all over it. So it's a must. So the next process is we'll wet it down. You've got to get it nice and wet, and then run the whacker plate over it, and then we give a final rake out after that to make sure that we're happy, and we add any rock and do any more re-whacking or compacting to finish it off. So once we've used the whacker plate and we've compacted it down really well, maybe go over once or twice, then you have to smooth it out again, obviously, and fill up any low spots. This is not too bad, this one today. So, and then also with a trowel. If you don't have one of these, you can maybe a bit of timber or something flat, but you got all the areas where the compactor plate doesn't go, like around the post. You've got to just get in there by hand. So once we've done all the finish of all the base work and everything's nice and clean and ready to go, you're ready to lay the grass to your measure. One rule laying grass is that you can't change direction more than 45 degrees. So just remember that's one of the biggest mistakes in laying lawn, do it yourself, is that you change direction and you get a different colour in it. So it's important that when you're measuring your grass that you're allowing for it to go in the same direction. So all you do is you cut your grass, you just use a Stanley knife you can buy at the hardware shop, some good blades, and measure your grass, cut it, usually out the front or where you've got a bit of room to roll it out, and then basically spread it out over the lawn and get it ready for cutting in, as we call it, or putting it into the edges. Go along, around about every 200 mil, set your nails out like this, and to hold your lawn in. If you have pets, particularly dogs, then you can go a little bit closer if you're worried about them pulling up the edges. And you go along and bang all them in on all your outer edges. Everywhere where there's a place to bang it in, you've got to put a nail in. Once we get our main piece of grass down, we have to keep the same direction as I spoke on earlier, so this is where we've got to do some joining, and we've cut our grass to the length, as you can see. So what we're going to do now is you've got to line them up and just pull the grass back like this, close it up, check it all the way down, make sure you've got only a very small gap in between. I'll show you there. So you try to bring it up as close together as possible. You don't want a big gap, otherwise your join will show on the lawn. Once you've got that done and you're happy with that, just double check, then just bang, put 2 nails in one piece so it doesn't move, and don't have to bang them in too hard. You're only holding nails, so just bang them in. You can actually buy these from Melbourne Brick when you purchase your grass, or Supernatural Grass, they have them for sale. Then we pull the grass back, careful not to move it. Joining tape that you buy from Supernatural Grass as well. Cut it to length. It's a joining tape, so you just cut it to the length you want. Just peels off. It's handy to have someone to help you do this as well. If you've got someone to come out and help you hold one end, you just pull the tape off. Get the grass back. Put it halfway under. Set it back down. And then if you've lined it all up right, it'll go back together. Carefully do that. Make sure you don't trap any fibres down, trapping fibres down under the grass. And if all done nicely, you can barely see. Then you're ready for the last little bit, and that is you've got to put some sand on. Now you can put, it works out to about 1 20 kilo bag, which you can buy from Supernatural Grass or Melbourne Brick, and per about every 3 square metres. Everything's in place and we've put our sand on like I just showed. Then the final step is brushing it up. Now there's a couple of ways of doing it, but really the best way is to have a machine like this. It's called a power broom, hire them, and for most of the hire shops have them these days. If you don't have one, then certainly a wire broom would do it as well, but not as effective. So you should try to hire one of these. It's an important part of it, as you'll see when we brush it up, how it changes and transforms the lawn. Okay, so this is our finished product. This is what you try to achieve, a nice even finish, everything nailed down. So just to recap of what we do, obviously you've got to remove the grass, you've got to put down at least 100 mil, 80 at worst, of crusher dust or equivalent crushed rock, compact it with a whacker plate, lay the grass, pin it down, join it, make sure it runs in the same direction. Once you've power broomed it and finished it, that's it. So the way to look after it is to don't be frightened to spray the edges with a Roundup product to stop any weeds coming out from the neighbour's fencing, etc. It doesn't hurt the grass, it doesn't affect the warranty. So other than that, a little bit of a brush with a broom, just to broom it up, and often either a broom or a plastic rake to rake leaves up if you get them on your lawn, and also it just brushes up the grass. But it'll last you as long as you're here. This lawn will still be here in 15 years' time.